I found out about the house the way people usually find out about things they were never meant to approve of, through a strangely casual phone call. I didn't think you'd mind, my father said. The sentence landed with a softness that almost disguised its weight. I was standing on a hotel balcony thousands of miles away, the city below me unfamiliar, temporarily mine. It was early morning there, late afternoon back home. Mind what? There was a pause, brief but textured. Your brother's staying at your place for a while. Staying. It was an interesting choice of word. Carefully neutral. Reversible. The linguistic equivalent of stepping lightly across thin ice. I leaned against the railing, watching traffic slide through intersections I didn't yet understand. For how long? Oh, until he gets things sorted. Another pause. He's already moved in. The sentence arrived gently, like an afterthought. I said nothing. Silence has a way of expanding on phone calls, revealing more than speech ever could. He needed somewhere stable, my father continued, his tone settling into that familiar register, calm, reasonable, quietly corrective. It's a big house. Big, as if square footage were the central issue. He said you'd understand. Of course he did. My brother had always possessed a particular confidence with assumptions. A talent for inhabiting spaces, physical, emotional, financial, as if occupancy itself implied permission. I wish someone had asked me, I said finally. Another pause. Well, my father replied, we're family. The word carried its usual elasticity, capable of stretching over almost any violation. That night, jet-lagged and restless, I pulled up the security cameras. The house looked oddly unfamiliar through the lens. Furniture rearranged. Boxes near the entryway. My brother's car in the driveway like a misplaced detail. In the living room, he stood laughing with someone I didn't recognize, drink in hand, moving with an ease that suggested not temporary shelter but ownership. I watched longer than I meant to. It wasn't anger I felt first, it was displacement. A quiet, creeping sensation that something stable had been subtly rewritten without my participation. The next morning, my brother called. Hey, he said brightly as if discussing weather. Dad told you? Yes. Perfect. Perfect. I'll just stay here for a bit. He continued. Makes sense, right? Makes sense for who? A small laugh. Come on? That tone, light, slightly amused. As if resistance itself were faintly embarrassing. I've already set everything up, he added. Utilities, internet, I'm basically running the place. Running. Language again, doing quiet work. It's my house, I said. Another laugh, softer this time. Technically. Don't worry, he said. We'll figure it out. We. As if the ownership were a collaborative puzzle rather than a legal fact. I ended the call with a politeness that surprised even me. Then I stopped arguing. There's a particular exhaustion that comes from negotiating realities that should not require negotiation. At some point, discussion begins to feel like participation in your own erosion. Instead, I opened my laptop. 2 emails, nothing dramatic, nothing emotional. One to my attorney, one to a property management company. The language was dry, procedural, almost boring. Ownership verification, unauthorized occupancy, standard enforcement, no speeches, no ultimatums, just administration. For 2 days nothing appeared to change. Through the cameras, my brother's confidence seemed to deepen. Music equipment. More guests. The house gradually acquiring the atmosphere of permanence. On the 3rd night, the party began. I watched from another country as people moved through rooms I had chosen, sat on furniture I had purchased, leaned against counters I had once wiped down in quiet domestic routine. My phone buzzed. A notification from the property manager. They're there. Minutes later, flashing lights cut across the camera feed. The shift was immediate, almost surreal. Music stopping mid-beat. Movement turning chaotic. Uniformed officers stepping into frame with the unmistakable neutrality of institutional presence. Authority has a very specific body language, calm, unhurried, entirely indifferent to personal narratives. My brother appeared seconds later, his gestures sharp, disbelieving. There has to be some mistake. Even without sound, I could read it. Documents were shown. Statements repeated. Procedure unfolding with quiet inevitability. Then, the locksmith. The detail felt oddly symbolic, not aggressive, not punitive, just mechanical. A man performing a task, changing cylinders, replacing hardware, restoring legal reality one turn of a tool at a time. Guests filtered out, some confused, some uncomfortable, some carefully avoiding eye contact. Eventually, my brother stood alone on the lawn. His movements were no longer confident. They carried that particular stiffness of someone encountering a boundary they had not believed was real. My phone rang. "What did you do?" His voice held no curiosity, only strain. "I didn't do anything," I said. A silence heavy with things neither of us named. "He's your brother." "Yes." "You could have talked to us." I did. Another silence, different this time. Less certain. "He's very upset." I imagine he is. No shouting, no dramatic rupture. Just two people navigating the uncomfortable terrain where expectation collides with consequence. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of the unfamiliar hotel bed, staring at the screen. The house was quiet again, lights off, rooms empty. Nothing looked triumphant, nothing looked victorious, just restored. Yet the feeling wasn't relief, not entirely. Because boundaries, once enforced, don't simply rearrange space, they rearrange relationships. And some forms of distance, once created, remain long after the locks are changed.